Good evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of Resurge the Spike ATL, presented to you by FILA Sports Podcast. Um, if all you guys will please go and subscribe, as you can see up there, there's all our platforms on Facebook, YouTube. You can go ahead and subscribe, hit the like, hit the share button. Your guys' feedback is very important to us, so we want to go ahead and try to get the best content out to every single one of you 17s out there. Here once again with Tommy the man. How are you doing, man?
We won again, so I'm great.
Yeah, man. That's the feeling around like every 17. These last couple 2 weeks, it's been a good vibe. It's been a good feeling. Now this last week a good result again on the road against DC United, which was a tough win, honestly. Defensively, and the goalkeeping side, it was tough. What do you think Atlanta has to like keep improving and when it comes to on the offensive side and both defensively?
On the offensive side, they looked like they were starting to get it together very quick. They had chances early on that looked really good. They just weren't able to finish. Joseph was offsides, I think, twice when he had some good ones. I think two scoring chances that got called back. But they're still working. They're working together, and it's early on in the season, so they're going to need to keep trying to figure this out. But it's early. Alaruju's, I think I said his name right, is finally, he's in, and they're still trying to figure out things with him. But he looks great on the ball, off the ball. He's making runs. He's already looking to sync up with Joseph. So on the offensive side, things look positive, but it's the same thing that we've had all year where they just need to finish. And hopefully, as the season progresses here, Joseph gets back to being Joseph, because as we talked about last week, they're still saying he's recovering completely. So this is, 50% Joseph, or maybe even 60% Joseph. We're going to be pretty legit if we can get up to 80% or 90% Joseph by, October. But then we've got the defense issues, and that's crazy. How many shots do we have? 22 against?
Yeah, 22 shots on goal. Like that's the most like any offense has put up against Atlanta United ever.
I mean, it was stressful. That entire second half, they let DC do whatever they wanted, and they could have put two or three goals up, but they just weren't able to finish. Brad Guzan was, and that set piece in the second half was it was stressful. I can't believe that went in. I've always joked around saying, is Guzan ever just going to get distracted yelling at people all the time, because it's all he ever does is just scream at people? And while he was screaming, the ball went in the net. So maybe he's, talking to a psychologist this week to maybe tone down some of that anger. But after that, Guzan's been great. The rest of the game, he made two or three big saves to keep the game, tied, until Moreno scored that crazy goal that I don't know how it got into the net, but it went in. I mean, it's Moreno is just, for being a TAM player, it's such amazing value for him right now. For all the value that we've lost with Jurgen Damm and Guzan's high price, Moreno makes up for it. It's so good to see him finally be able to come in and be able to create these chances and finish them. He's all around our best player. Over the past month, he's my player of the month of August. I don't think we've really seen a bad game from him. Maybe we haven't seen a terrific game, one or two, but most of the games have been very good with him, and he's syncing up and linking up with Joseph, which is great. And him and Moreno are not running into each other anymore, which was something that we saw so much early on during the Heinze Water era, was that they would just run into each other because they want to take up the same space. Now they're able to stay apart and be able to, get real nice passes to each other.
You know what? Like you said in that second goal with that Moreno scored. I mean, like that right there. I don't know if you are or any of you guys that are watching remember like in the play before that. Like there was a controversial play. That's what everybody like on defense and even like some of the Atlanta United players like like kind of like stood still and you know that's something that just it shows like the mentality that they want, like they just want to keep going and going. Marcelino Moreno didn't wait until like there was a whistle blown, but there wasn't. So he just kept on going with the whole play, but it looked like as if everybody around him just like stood still, and they were just whether waiting for the referee to blow the whistle. But yet again, that's something, like a thumbs up, to the players itself, because they there has been really a whole attitude change, I'm pretty sure you saw the whole interview that they had with the players and Rob Valentino and Pineda, to where they said, that there wasn't no credit either to the coaches, but it was more to the players, to the whole attitude change that they had, in this last couple of games. So we're really, itself, I feel like Rob also doesn't want to take credit away from the players or anything like that, but they have been playing in more of a freedom and more freedom that they haven't had to. I mean, most of these guys weren't here when Frank de Boer was here, but with Gabriel Heinze, it was more of like touching the ball, passing the ball. It wasn't more of a more vertical type of game. It was more of a try to play pretty and stuff like this. But when you have guys like Barco, Marcelino Moreno, Luis Araujo, these guys that are like can dribble through 1, 2, 3 players easily. You just got to take advantage of that, and hopefully once or Atlanta United has what this whole, well, yeah, basically this whole week to work with all the players except Miles and George Bello, which will be gone for or are gone for the MLS Allstar. But yet again, you have a whole week to work, and these little things to where like, like a certain movement or a certain, pass or like, that's really the difference maker that it makes. These guys have the quality when it comes to like a lot of things, but it really comes down to a little small detail, to where as if the coach is able to get this right, I mean, hopefully, see an Atlanta United that, it's, going to be making a lot of noise throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that nobody wants to take credit for it, and that's fine, because they're working as a group, and it seems like they're having fun. When you looked at these early teams, you'd see them as a family on Instagram. They were always out to eat together. They were always doing things together. And then it seemed, after Tata left, it seemed like it wasn't fun anymore. And then they broke the group up too. So the small group that they did have together, that stayed, they all, they went against Frank, and those guys got out. And the ones that didn't go up against Frank are here. A few of them are still here, but you're looking at this now, and it looks like they're just going out there playing their game, having fun. There's smiles on the field. Joseph usually when he's upset, which is a lot, but when he's out there and he's not getting the service he needs, he's screaming at people. He's been screaming a lot early this year. And one thing I noticed in the last game was instead of the screaming, it was clapping at
Yeah.
the guys for a nice pass, nice pass, nice pass. Let's keep it going. And when Joseph's going, the whole team's going. And I feel that, he's really the general of this squad. And, I know that they won in Columbus without him, but this team needs him. And they're finally looking to everything's starting to come together. Now, hopefully, with Pineda coming in, it stays that way. And I have no reason to think that it's not. I haven't got to. I know there's been some videos of his conferences and talking, and I didn't get to watch any of those, but I did watch the one where he talked to the youth academy this morning, and just listening to him talk to these kids, immediately I got vibes that I haven't gotten from a coach from Atlanta United. Um, he is a guy that wants to build the entire squad up. He knows about the kids. He knows about the twos. He's at the youth academy dinner yesterday or the day before, and just listening to him talk, he's a very if he was my coach, I'd be pumped to work for him. Just listening to him talk to these kids. Now, how it's going to work on the field, I don't know, but I can only imagine that this has to get better. It wasn't bad with Rob. Rob was fantastic. I don't think Rob is the tactics guru. And everything we've read, at least, is that Pineda is a tactics guru. So if we could keep doing what we're doing and shore up the middle of the field and play a little bit of defense and stop, 22 shots in the game, I mean, we could be winning games like we used to, 3-0, 4-0, but we've got to get that together. But it was impressive without Sosa. I think that was our first game this year without Sosa out there.
I mean, Sedic, honestly, like, he was pretty good, in that, like, in the midfield, like, he ended up coming out in the second half, but yet again, like, overall, more on the offensive side, I feel like, he had a better, a better performance. Defensively, honestly, we got killed, like in the DC game, both first half and second half, but yet again, like, they were just unfortunate. But yes, I, like you said, this really, it has been like a turning point for Atlanta United, but yet again, it can get better, because we really honestly haven't been, great. We really haven't been, winning games like how we should be winning them, because to the chances that we're having, throughout the 90 minutes, there's way too many chances that are being wasted. And yet again, we're winning games. So, you would only think that, you're only bringing, like, positive things into the team. One thing that, like you said, that he's like a tactician. He's literally said that in a conference that I was listening to like a couple of days ago, to where he said that he never loses like a battle on the tactical board. Like, he literally said that. So, like, now, like, it really has me like thinking, all right, like, what is this guy got to bring, like, to that point, to where, he has that confidence, and, he's even said it himself, to there's enough, caliber and in the Atlanta United squad, so where he knows that they could obviously fight for the playoff spot, and, try to get as high as possible as they can.
Yeah, I mean, there's every opportunity here. We're still playing teams in front of us. I mean, you look at the next two games. You've got Nashville, and then you have Orlando, two teams that are above you in the standings. And this is what you want. You beat teams above you, you move up. You're moving up in there. And what this team would like, and it happened. The year after MLS Cup, they weren't the number one seed, but they still, they were in a position that if they would have won that Eastern Conference, they would have hosted MLS Cup again. So there, you gotta get a home playoff game. You can get a home playoff game, and anything can happen. And MLS playoffs are weird. Now that there's no longer two legs, just having just a one game elimination, crazy stuff happens. So you get in, you've got a chance here. But the best teams in MLS usually they win at home. So you need to you can get a home game at least in that first round. Start from there and then hopefully move on.
And speaking of home, I mean, you got Atlanta United that is going to be playing basically the whole month of September is going to be playing at home. The only home game that they have is against Philly, which is towards the end of the month, and then October they have I think like 2 away games, but they have as we speak in other episodes, they have a favorable schedule, and like you said, opponents that are above and historically are a favorable opponent against Atlanta United. So you would think that they will get a positive result. But it really comes down to how things are gonna get turned around when right now that Gonzalo Pineda comes in, and hopefully he's there's already a good vibe going with the whole team itself and everything, but we just want to see on the field, there's a little times where obviously it's easier to see it than to actually perform it on the field, but there's a lot of times where you see space or players that have like a certain movement, and I don't know if the players are just not confident enough to have or do a certain play, but the talent is there. It's just a matter of them having that little edge that takes them to the next level.
Yeah, it should be interesting. What's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks, because this is big. We just found out like a little while ago that we're at least going to be out a couple guys in 2 weeks against Orlando. Ronald Hernandez, who's not a huge hit for us, but we're going to be missing out on Joseph Martinez. So that's going to be that's big. But I mean we got every opportunity for the rest of the season to, if we can do what we can do at home and make this place scary again, then the sky's the limit for the squad. But they got to win at home. And earlier this year, they did not finish games at home. 2 games that they were up 2-0 and they blew it. So they can't be missing out on any type of points here. But it should be a fun run here. And pretty much everybody's back healthy now. So, I mean, that's great. I can't think of who we might be missing. I guess we don't know the status of Sosa right now.
Yeah, I think Sosa, Mulroney, and I don't remember who else. I think I saw like they still hadn't
Joey
gone
Ibarra,
back to training. Yeah, Eric
Ibarra,
Ibarra.
I
Yeah.
think was close. I think they said Ibarra was close. So Moreni's got a foot injury, and that foot injuries could sometimes last a little while until it's fully back. And the way he runs, it could be a little bit. But with the depth that this team has, I think that they'll be okay, even if they're missing a couple of these guys for a little bit. But think if you can get Ibarra back, Ibarra is a playoff type player. Rough around the edges. Will throw you down if he needs to. You need that attitude in the middle of that field, and I call him Larry Jr. Just because he's got that attitude, and someone gets into his face, he'll push him. He's a little dude, but man, he's got an engine on him. So it'd be exciting to see him, get in there and be able to shore up that midfield. Because Sejdic is doing well. I've been very impressed on what he's been able to do. I'm not sure exactly how long he's here for. I feel like Hyman would be doing the same things that he would be doing. But one of the things I think that for that game that we haven't talked about, I think he's actually come in the past 3 games, is George Campbell. George Campbell came in,
Yeah.
and he basically played midfield. He just played deep, and what he's doing out there is very impressive. And that's our future. If Miles Robinson gets sold, and I fully expect him to get sold this winter, if he's sold off, I think that George Campbell has the opportunity to come in and, probably won't be seamless transition, but it'll be an easy transition because every time I've seen him play, he's impressed me for sure.
He was really rock solid, honestly. Once he came in that last game against DC United, honestly, like I mean, I even posted about it on Twitter. I mean, he really did, like, like nobody really got like passed through him, or there was like, there wasn't like no mistakes, for a young guy like him, to be coming in and such a an intense game, it really shows, the type of character that he has, basically, because he really wasn't, you know at all, like, fear of, like, like the whole environment. A lot of guys, like DC honestly had been playing really well lately, and they had just came back off of a loss, and yet again, the guys were still able to play through that. And like, yeah, for a guy like George Campbell, for his age to come in and have the impact that he had in those last 20-25 minutes, I mean, it really was like outstanding. And he really does deserve more minutes, but I mean, who would you bench from those, from the three center backs that are, or from the deep three that are playing? I mean, the only guy that I would think that, if anything would change, would be Anton Walks. But yet again, he hasn't been, the most outstanding defender, but yet again, he has resolved, whatever has come to in the beginning of the season. He really wasn't that solid, but yet again, as the season has progressed, he's been, having more solid minutes. And he even came to the point of being the captain of Atlanta United while Brad Guzan was gone. So, but yet again, George Campbell really needs to have more first team minutes, and in order to develop into the player, to where he's a solid starter. And in Atlanta United, he's not getting that. And the only opportunity that I really see is, if he gets loaned down to another team, and he actually gets first team minutes.
Yeah. Well, and if Robinson gets called up, that could for the US team, in a couple weeks, or next week.
Yeah.
Then there's an opportunity, there for him to possibly come in if they want to keep a back three there. And they might, who knows if he is going to want to keep those three, but they've worked very well together. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he comes into this team, and what he wants to do with that back line, because we got a lot of talent back there, and that's good. The academy being able to bring Campbell, to us, and continue to play well. That's great. And if we need to, a little bit in the season, bring him to the twos to have a little bit to get some playing time, I'm fine with that. They just did that with Jackson Conway on Sunday. He got some playing time with the twos. And it was good. It was good to see, because I think quite a few of these guys just never get an opportunity to actually play, and you give them that opportunity, got to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I actually saw, yeah, like what, today or yesterday, they come out with like all the rosters, from like the academy players and stuff like that. And I personally, don't follow the academy, that up close. But I mean, if they're having so much focus, and there's been talent that has been coming out of the academy, so you would think that Atlanta United is one of those places to where a lot of kids from the surrounding areas want to take that first step in the Atlanta United Academy. I mean, you look until now, I mean, and I'm talking about here in the South Carolina or Georgia area. I mean, well, Charlotte's got a team coming up, but yet again, the South is really deep, like when it comes to like soccer and stuff like that. But yet again, since there wasn't really a team to where they could really reach out to, or be following and stuff like that. But I feel like Atlanta United is gonna be like that trampoline for a lot of young players. Here. Once a couple of players from the academy are able to come out, like George Bello and even George Campbell. I feel like they're gonna start having more of an attraction towards the city and towards the team itself. Other than like the fan base, but they're gonna kids itself are gonna try to follow more of that Atlanta culture, to where they grow up and then they end up being sold. Because you look at it, that's how MLS is. It's a development league, to where players are just here for a short amount of period of time, and then they just if they're good enough, they end up going to a team that has a better um basically overall soccer program itself. Not saying that the MLS is bad or anything like that, but Europe is always the go-to to every soccer player, basically.
Yeah, and just look at the twos, and we've got players coming from all around the place to just play with the twos. We have Rocco's Rios, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he
Argentinian. Yeah.
I mean, he's down there, which could be our future, our future goaltender. And then I just saw the article yesterday that Atlanta United 2 has a right, Edson Rivas, that just came in, and I think they say he's like 6 goals in his last 8 games. But it's a guy that wants to play. And who knows what this could mean? He starts with the twos. He could start with could eventually move his way up, maybe next season, to Atlanta United. But you know, players want to play for the twos. I mean, that's a great thing to see. I mean, last year with COVID, we would have had Eric Lopez playing for them as well. So, I mean, it's what we have, and what we're hoping to build here with Pineda, I think is going to get very interesting. We can get if he can help even bring in some younger players and say, hey, come play for the twos, and I'll work your way up, then great. Because I think Atlanta United, in their eyes right now, feel like they've hit the jackpot with him, and we haven't even seen a game with him yet. But just the way he's talking, and just the way he's talking about building the community together, and building better men, and he's talking to the media. I saw quite a few people from the media say that they were able to watch like 30 minutes of practice, which with Heinze, he didn't let anyone near the field. They've got themselves at least a media gem right now, because everybody's loving him on the things he says. So if he can produce on the field, he's already producing off the field. He's won me with everything he's done off the field. So it'll be interesting to see what happens against Nashville, because these last 2 Nashville games have been amazing. I mean, amazingly bad and amazingly great. We blew a 2-goal lead at home, and then down 2-0 or 2-1 with I forget, someone got a red card. Oh, it was the Morini red card that should never have happened. We came back and still tied the game. Conway came in and scored. Those were great games. So who knows what's going to happen here? The teams are rested up. Interesting note, I just saw, I think Zimmerman starting for MLS today. Robinson and Bello are not starting. So
Oh,
it'll be interesting to see how these guys, how much playing time. But it's just gross. Like, I saw the starting lineup, 6 players from Seattle. 6.
are
They
you
didn't even win the
kidding me?
championship.
Really?
6 starters. Yeah, the Roldan brothers, Yeamer.
Yeah, I'll figure that both of them will be starting, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. But yeah, there's no But yeah, Zimmerman's starting the game here, so I'm sure none of these guys, just like the game that was with all the Atlanta United players when it was in Atlanta, they won't be playing too long. But it's we just gotta hope they stay healthy here.
Dude, like, yeah, you're not really kidding. I thought you were like messing around, but like seriously, it's all Seattle. Like, it
I mean, they're in
really
first place,
is.
I guess, right? I think they're or they're up there. And
Yeah,
I'm from Ohio
Gustavo
here.
Bo and like the other guy, I don't remember. Yeah, Caldwell is the only, but like, dang, there's barely any like people from the Eastern Conference, honestly, on that starting lineup.
Yeah, they're in second place right now, Seattle. But I'll tell you, just real quick, it's not Atlanta United, but we're obviously rooting against Columbus the other day, and I'm from Ohio, so we had the game on here, and Columbus takes the lead with, in the 70th minute, and then I think late 80s, Seattle scores 2 goals in like a minute and a half. It was
That was
fantastic.
crazy.
My neighbors are Columbus Crew fans, so they're booing and I'm cheering. So we have a little rivalry going on on our houses. But yeah, it was literally almost every result that came last weekend went the Atlanta United way. Everything that we
It,
needed to happen happened. I mean, it was fantastic.
I mean,
I was sweating there.
even the week before that, I mean, there was I think Columbus, I mean, Columbus was and I think they're still tied in points with us, but yet again, they have been having like bad results lately, and they were ahead of us. So it really comes down. No, I don't think. No, we don't play them anymore. But like you said, we have teams that are in front of us. Like Nashville or Orlando. No, we don't play New England anymore. So there it really has to come down to like the attitude of the players, that they have, and like the hunger to actually, try to get themselves into a playoff. And because if you look at it, a month ago we were looking at this team and we were like, we're not making it into the playoffs. We're not. I mean, as simple as that. As we're playing bad under Heinze. It was bad result after bad result, and we're here a month after. We're having positive results. We're
2 weeks all it took. It just took 2 weeks.
yeah. I
2 weeks,
mean,
3 wins and a draw.
you really look at it, and I think Atlanta United is either first or second in like the most points that they have picked up, in the last 4 or 5 games. So it really shows the attitude now. With Gonzalo, hopefully, like you said, everybody is praising him and everything, but it really comes down to actual game time. The 90 minutes, everything before and even after. You could sweeten it up. You could say, you could say all these fairy tales or whatever, but it really comes down to your actual job. Like, are you able to perform when it actually comes down to the pressure that you have? Especially with the Atlanta United fan base. Recently it hasn't been great. With Heinze, with Frank de Boer, it hasn't been great. So right now you're expecting for Gonzalo Pineda to come in here and just, all right, I'm gonna settle things down. It's not gonna be like how things were, and we're just gonna sit here and play how Atlanta United plays, and have a vertical offense, and just try to score, and that's something that we've talked again. We have created so many chances in these last couple of games. Yet again, we've won, but we should have, not been able to, come into the 80th, 85th minute, with just a goal difference. It should have been like a more comfortable lead. It should have been a more comfortable game. But yet again, we just complicated ourselves, in the whole throughout the whole game.
Well, but they also didn't call a penalty kick. That should have been a penalty kick.
Dude, that was.
So But this week's going to be a really good week. There's a lot of rivalries going on, and the way these rivalries are set up, it's teams that are close together or right by us. So it means only one of them can win. I mean, so we're in good shape. Orlando, Miami. I mean, Miami's still behind us, but they're playing really well, so they could beat Orlando. That'd be great. You still got New England and New York FC. That's a big one. Philly and DC. I mean, these are all matchups that it's good that they're playing each other, because it only means one team can win, and we win. We're only 2 points behind Nashville, so this is a huge game. I mean, pretty much all the games are huge going forward, but specifically, the next few ones at home are going to be pretty big.
I
Um,
mean, this next month is specifically, like I said, I mean, we're home basically the whole entire month, other than that game against Philly. So we've really got to take advantage of like those like 2 3 games that we have at home. I mean, it's crucial to like pick up every single point. I mean, because it's basically, I mean, I think Cincinnati's the only team that is not above us that we played throughout this whole month, if I'm not mistaken. But it looks favorable to Atlanta United, and hopefully, the whole squad, the team, the whole organization itself, is able to take advantage of it. Um, Basically, they really have like a platter served, basically, just to, all right, you gotta do whatever you want to do to get to the top. As simple as that. I mean, you have you have the players, now you have a coach, now you have the fans backing you up, everything. I mean, now it's really as simple as you have to perform on the field. You have to do what they brought you to here, what they brought you here to do, and it's as simple as that. But it's only time will tell when it really comes down to that.
yeah, for sure. Well, it should be exciting. This week, for us that don't live in Atlanta, this game's on Univision/Twitter. So these are the things where I just scream at my phone uh, for 2 hours. So that should be a ton of fun.
Hopefully, man, this thing is like, I heard that like they're trying to change the whole MLS thing to where they don't have like the whole blackout thing and stuff like that on like the platforms and stuff. It was crazy because I actually have ESPN Plus, and there was a lot of people that were asking like where they can see and stuff like this. But it's crazy because I had never actually been able to see Atlanta United through ESPN Plus because of the whole blackout thing.
Hmm.
But yet again, somehow it popped up on my, like, I was able to watch I was able to watch the DC game on my phone, and I was like, that's crazy. So let me go ahead and put it on the TV then. But once I tried to do it on the TV, it didn't work. So I'm like, what the, like, like it's dumb, like that whole blackout thing, you would think because you're paying, for a certain platform that, all right, it tells you, they're gonna be playing every single MLS game, but yet again, just because you're out the market, they don't let you see it. Like it's
I can't watch
really.
Columbus here. If it's a Columbus game, that's why I make sure I go to everyone here in Ohio because it gets blacked out here, and that's it's like a 3-hour drive to get to Columbus. But it's weird because I have the same thing here, but with hockey, I can watch some of these games on my phone, but I can't watch them on my Xbox. So it's weird on how that all works. But I think MLS's TV deal's up in 3 years. So I think ESPN has it for like 2 to 3 more years, and then once that happens, then we'll see who bids for it. Seems like CBS or NBC are the two that are hoarding all the soccer content, or at least they're trying to now. So it should be interesting to see what they come up with here. But man, can you imagine like MLS being on NBC? That would be
That would be
great.
a good market. That would be a good market for MLS, honestly.
I mean, ABC has um, some games, but it's very rare that they ever actually have a game on ABC. But you know what? Now I think about it, NBC really screwed up the hockey. and they just lost the rights to hockey now. So it's maybe I take that back. Maybe we'll stick with ESPN.
Hey, who do you see winning the MLS All-Star game tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I think League MX takes this more seriously than MLS does. So I'll say Liga. I mean, I will say the skills competition. I was watching a little bit last night. It's so much fun. Like it's like certain of these modes are in FIFA. So it's like fun to watch some of those. So I started playing some of those this morning on my break. Playing some of those things, but like it was just fun. It was that was more fun than anything than probably than what this game is going to be. I mean, like even that game that was in the All-Star game that was in Land, it was cool that it was there and Joseph scored. That game was boring. It wasn't exciting. All-Star games are terrible. But at least I love skills competitions. I love it because you just see the players' personalities. They're all joking around. So I always find that that's probably the funnest part of the All-Star week or weekend. But I guess I'll have it on the background and probably fall asleep to it.
I mean, it just really comes down to it, man. It's just trying to make money off of it. As simple as that, man. It's not really like for a love of the game. As simple as that, like a lot of well, before when you had these European teams come and play against MLS team or against the MLS All Stars, you would think like, you really think the MLS is or even the whole MLS All Stars are gonna be like a team like Manchester United, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich? I mean, like I said again, it's not like I'm down in the MLS, but you have to look at it. You're playing. You really want to put a game, against the best players in a league, and you're putting them like in a whole other level. Like seriously, and low key, it makes me like think about like when I was back in high school. Like seriously, man, our team, like we were good. We were good when it came down to like us playing against other teams, like dude, we were so miserable. Like seriously, because we had guys that were actually like just freaking phenomenal. As simple as that. Like these guys were scoring bicycle kicks off of corner kicks. They were, doing just incredible stuff on the field. Like seriously, I mean, we were good, but and it's like that type of level. Like I mean, why? And then, like you said, the MLS All Star, the whole thing, it really doesn't make sense. It's more of like, all right, we're here as the MLS, as a whole organization. We're trying to like push out this product to y'all through these European teams, or even Liga MX right now. Like we're just trying to like expand MLS through this, the whole MLS All-Star game or whatever.
You need it though. This league's, it's in my opinion, it's still young and it's still growing. So when you're able to get especially these two leagues together, which have been rumored for such a long time now of possibly doing something jointly at some point. It's exciting to see this, and maybe this is just the beginning of it.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I
man.
guess we should go
Hopefully.
watch it now.
Yeah, man. It is starting about to start up, but yeah, man. Um, we're actually.
Predictions? Are we gonna do a prediction?
Ah, man, that's kind of hard, man. I'll say I'm gonna go ahead and gamble with that, man. I'm gonna say MLS wins 2-1.
Oh, sorry, I was just thinking the Nashville game. I'll say this. I'll say this game is 3-1 Liga. I think it just gets embarrassing after a while.
Hopefully not, man.
For
Hopefully not.
Nashville though, I'm gonna say we put up a big game and we win 2-0. I think
Yeah,
that's a big opportunity. I think that they're gonna wanna push hard for the new coach. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see this. These two teams go at it. This is a young rivalry right now, but they've been putting on some great performances. This season at least. So it'll be exciting to see what goes on from there.
yeah. Against that game against Nashville this weekend, man. I see. I'm gonna be honest. I'll say Atlanta. We win, but it's gonna be a close one, man. I say 1-0. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of opportunities, on offense and stuff like that. But it is really gonna come down to being more repetitive and having more chemistry with the guys and stuff like that. But I feel like once Atlanta United is able to have that click, like with that one game, I feel like it's all gonna go. It's just gonna be top speed from there, and hopefully that's what we try to see for the rest of the season. But yeah, man, hopefully, man, I hope MLS wins, but I know Liga MX has more talent, most likely, individually, but I hope MLS wins, man. It'll be good for the MLS, for the whole organization.
All right. Well, I guess I need to go put an MLS jersey on to root for this, and hopefully this will be a great thing to have to make me go to sleep in the background. We'll see. We'll see what this brings.
We'll see if this will be like NyQuil. It will knock you right to sleep.
Yeah, it's usually what All-Star games do. But yeah, hopefully next week we're talking another win, and then it's rivalry week. So
Nah.
we'll be talking about Orlando and putting some single fingers up in the air for them.
Hopefully, every single week from now is all about the 3 points. That's
Well,
why.
don't get too cocky. Don't get too cocky. But
No,
yeah,
I know it
most
won't be
weeks,
like
most
that,
weeks.
but huh?
Yeah, most weeks we should hopefully have a good. We had a good August. Now let's just get a good September. That's all we could ask for.
Yeah, yeah, man. All right, man. Well, thanks to every single one of you guys that was here connected, and thanks to you, Tommy. And we'll see you guys later. We'll see you at another episode.
2-0.